Well, hello guys. Welcome to our first Step Up Chapel. My name is Mr. Cruz, if you haven't met me already. And our theme for the month of October for Step Up is going to be unique, and specifically how God has made us unique. So I have some awesome 8th grade students that have come here and stepped up and were willing to join this roundtable discussion with me as we kind of talk about what being unique is. So I was wondering if you guys could maybe go around and say your name, and if you had $1 million, what would you do with $1 million?
Well, my name is Boston Gertis. I'm an 8th grade student at Sioux Falls Christian, as you may know. And if I had $1 million, I'd buy a very nice car, and then just drive around the world, and the rest of the money would be gas.
There you go.
I'm Leah Bratcher, and I'm an 8th grade as well. If I had $1 million, I would probably just travel the world and just, yeah.
Any specific places you go?
I'd probably go to like Paris or Bora Bora.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Okay, and I'm Paige Rarick, and if I had $1 million, I'd probably also travel just everywhere, with my family and have fun.
It sounds like a fun time. So, awesome. So yeah, as you heard me say, our theme this month is going to be unique. So when you hear the word unique, what is the first picture or image that comes up into your head when you hear unique?
Some crazy art drawing.
Crazy art drawing. Right?
I think of something or someone different, and they like do something different than other people.
Yep. Awesome.
I think of someone who doesn't care to be different and to show what they like to do.
Awesome. Great answers. Sometimes when I think of unique, I think of like a unicorn too, or just something that's just kind of out there with just something different. But awesome. So another important question: if you guys could have any superpower in the world, what superpower would you guys want, and why?
Invisibility.
Invisibility?
Mm-hmm.
And why?
Because then, say I get into a tough situation, or say I forget something in my locker, and just go invisible and then go get it quick. And then come back into class and nobody know I was there.
Love it.
I'd probably want to read people's minds, just so I know what they're thinking about me or about other people. I just think that'd be fun.
Cool.
I think it'd be fun to fly around the city and see it from a different perspective.
That'd be cool.
Be a bird.
That'd
be fun.
You guys all have different superpowers, which I think is pretty cool. So we obviously don't have superpowers that we know of at this point, but we all have different maybe hobbies or interests and things we like to do. So or maybe God's given us different things that we're passionate about. So what are some of the hobbies and maybe interests that you guys have?
I like to play with my brother and sister, and my brother and sister, and I like to play soccer, and it's kind of hard. I like to do a lot of things outside. So, basically just going outdoors is one of my favorite things.
Awesome.
I like to play volleyball and softball, and then I also, in my free time, like to just go outdoors or bake cookies or something.
Ooh, sounds delicious.
Yeah, I play volleyball with Leah. And then I like basketball, and I also love to bake, and I like to spend time with my family and play board games.
Ooh, nice. What do you guys like to bake?
Brownies.
Brownies?
Oh my goodness, every dessert possible.
I can't make anything except waffles and, waffles.
Waffles? I love waffles. That's good.
Waffles are my favorite too.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, it's cool to see how you guys have different hobbies and different things that you like to do. So I want us to maybe even go a little bit deeper now and think about personality traits that we have. So we all have hobbies and interests, but maybe what are some things in your personality? So for an example, I have an aunt that's just super encourager. She's always writing me notes or giving you text messages and saying hey, you're awesome, how's your day going? I have another friend that's super outgoing and is always what's up? Want to hang out? Let's go do something. I have another friend that's just, a really good listener. So when kids are having tough times, it's a great person to talk to. So what are maybe some personality traits or some things that make up you?
Well, I as a lot of people may know, I'm very loud, and I like to make people laugh. And I'm good with kids, like little kids. So my mom has a daycare, and I help her out a lot. And I'm a Christian.
I like to move around a lot, so like when I'm with people or at my house, I don't just like to like sit down and like do stuff. I always like to like be doing sports or like go outside and do something. And then I also like little kids a lot, so I like to like hang out with my younger 2 siblings and just play with them.
I like to talk to people. I don't like being silent for a really long time. And when I'm reading, I have to take breaks because I cannot sit for an hour straight. So I like to move around and play with my brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm exactly like Pidge, except I don't read.
Okay.
I have to read. I have to for school, so.
Sweet. Yep. Awesome. Great answers to these questions. So I'm wondering, so we all have kind of different unique interests, different unique personality traits that we have. Why do you think it's a good thing that we're all different?
Because if we were all the same, then nobody would have unique traits like you said, and then we'd all just be the same. So if we were all the same, we'd all play the certain games, and nobody would be good at certain things, and others wouldn't be so great.
I think it's good that we're all different because life would be so boring if we had everyone like the same thing and everyone did the same thing. You wouldn't, if everyone was the same, you wouldn't have like different skills and then it'd not make life fun. It'd just be boring.
Yeah, we'd all kind of be robots.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fun at all. So, awesome. Well, to wrap this up, I want each of you guys maybe to share one thing with me. What is one way that you guys can use your uniqueness, your unique you, to step up this week to do something for somebody?
Well, one way I could include, wait, I said that now.
Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Yeah.
One way I could be more unique this week with my personality is maybe include people more and to make sure no one is left out. So then just, even if my friends don't want to hang out with people, I can just go hang out with other people.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Maybe since I'm very loud, maybe I could invite people to places like to a church maybe, and then just invite them to like youth group or something, so then they would feel included and maybe know more about the gospel.
Awesome.
I think that with liking to talk, that I would encourage people in volleyball and help them, or just in everyday life, and help them along and see how their day's going.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for being willing to come in here and share about how God has made you unique. I'm really excited for the month ahead, and as we all learn more about how God has made us unique.
My name is Olivia Netches, and I'm a senior here at Sioux Falls Christian. I probably, like many of you, have gone here since I was in preschool. So not only do I walk the hallways of the high school, but I used to walk the hallways of the middle school just like you guys are doing now. A few things about me. I play soccer for Dakota Alliance and for here at Sioux Falls Christian. I've been to Haiti a few times and I absolutely love it. I lead some praise and worship at my church for youth group. I go to youth group, and I am a part of a Bible study on Sunday nights. So that's a little bit about me. Oh, and also, if you go to Shalom's Middle School and you're in my small group, hello. And if you're in 7th grade, my brother is Drew Netches, so you might know him as well. Hi, Drew. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. So your guys' counselor, Mr. Cruz, just invited me to come down here to talk to you guys. your guys' step up month this month is about being unique, and that is spelled with a Y-O-U, unique, because we're not just talking about our unique talents and abilities and the things that maybe group us into categories, but we're talking about what makes every single one of you guys as individuals unique. And so since I've walked this whole path through Sioux Falls Christian, I'm just going to share a little bit with you guys about how I have grown to become unique in my own ability. So let's begin. Currently, right now, I have seen God, His plan go through my life very, very vividly. In middle school, when I was walking the same halls as you guys, the first few years, I had 3 really, really good friends. They were my all-time best friends, and I really didn't hang out with anybody else, to be honest. I ate lunch with them, walked to class with them, hung out with them after school, and that was it. I never pushed myself to be uncomfortable. I never embraced anything different than my little comfort bubble. And in 8th grade, when one of my best friend's parents ended up getting a divorce, everything kind of shattered for me. And not only was I really alone, but I had never learned the characteristics and the ability to branch out from myself and be able to make new friends and grow in different opportunities. And honestly, I found myself very lonely. I remember one day I had just gotten done eating lunch, and I left the lunchroom and I had no idea what to do next. Everybody went to the gym or walked down the hallway with their friends, and I just kind of stood there. And it was the first time in my life that I really felt lonely. And I think that was because I had never put myself out there before. I had just embraced what was comfortable for me, and I didn't even think about a different plan because I was so comfortable. And the craziest thing about that is, I never thought that that would happen. I never thought that I was going to feel so uncomfortable, but God really showed me what change looks like, and I'm so thankful for that now. The craziest part about it is that 2 of the girls that I wasn't even really that close with, everybody has those people that they just might not get along with so well or just kind of bicker with. Those are my 2 best friends today in middle school. Those girls and I we weren't really that close, but they're my 2 best friends today. And the girl that I ended up falling out with in 8th grade, she's another one of my best friends today. And so I think kind of the first thing I challenge you guys to do is to embrace being uncomfortable. Being comfortable it's so easy. It's so easy to stick in your bubble. It's so easy to feel as if you can just keep going along with your day. But God really taught me throughout middle school what it looks like to step out from myself. Another really important lesson that I learned in middle school was I learned how to read my Bible and I learned how to do my devotions and pray in middle school, but I had all 24 hours of my day, but I had God time and I had me time. And God was not a part of my me time, and I was not a part of my God time. It was 2 total separate categories. I didn't combine the 2 whatsoever. And so, yeah, maybe you could say I was doing pretty good for my age because I was reading my Bible and doing my devotions. But did God infiltrate any part of His life into my life? He didn't. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned growing up and going from middle school to high school was that God has to be a part of your you time, and when you infiltrate your life into God time, that's when He really starts to work through you. That's when He can really start to not only be a part of when you read in your Bible and when you pray, but He gets to be a core member of your friendships and your family, and He gets to be a part of your everyday activities. And so when those 2 categories were so separate in my life, there wasn't any combination. And so I've really learned to understand what it looks like to grow in sharing those categories to be together. Another really big thing that I learned was to be creative in your decision making, to not kind of the similar as to don't just be stuck in one spot with friendships, but also in your everyday activities. In middle school, I played volleyball, and I wasn't the greatest, but I had some really good friends on the team, and I loved it. But But after 7th grade, I decided it wasn't for me. So my 8th grade year, I ran cross country, which I don't really know what I was thinking. I'm not really a runner, but Mr. Vanderleest is a very persuading man, and he convinced me to join the team. So I did. Well, after 8th grade, I loved it, but I decided once again it wasn't for me. So here I am, not knowing what to do, wanted to be a part of something. I joined the soccer team. That's my 3rd sport in 3 years. I didn't know what I was doing in any of them, to be honest. But I learned to grow in it, and I absolutely loved it. And here I am today, 4 years later, and I still play. If you're stuck in the same shoes as me, like, oh man, I don't really like what I'm doing, I don't really love being a part of this, don't be afraid to try something different, because when I joined the cross country team, I met one of the biggest mentors that I still have to this day. We still talk like every single week. And had I not met her, I don't really know where I would be today, to be honest. She's helped me grow in my faith so much. But I took a leap of faith and I tried it, and here I am. And then once again with soccer, I grew in so many great relationships. So when I look back at my time at SFC, I loved growing in those relationships, and I loved being a part of those activities. And I really think that being creative and not being afraid to try something new is probably some of the biggest advice I can give you guys. Don't be afraid to make new friends. Don't be afraid to try something different, because maybe if you do, you'll grow in relationship with somebody that you never thought you would, or you'll find an activity that you never thought you'd love, but you absolutely do. And so I grew in so many ways, and now being here, I can see how God orchestrated that in my past and how He's going to pursue that in my future. And oh man, kind of question of the year what I'm going to be doing coming up, but God has really shown me a really awesome path with all my mentors here and all my teachers and my peers, and I can totally feel confident leaving and knowing that the lessons that I learned while I was in middle school and high school are going to develop and continue to grow as I leave. And so while you're in middle school and while you're sitting in the chair and you're thinking to yourself, well, I feel really comfortable right now. Why would I want to hang out with somebody new or join the cross country team? I challenge you to think about the different activities you can try. Think about what you can develop and new ways that you can push yourself to see change. And I hope that when you think about this and you think through, you can come up with an opportunity to meet new people. Another thing I really challenge you guys to do that I learned is to really orchestrate God into your life in every aspect, not just at night for 20 minutes before you go to bed. Because once you fully develop Him into your whole entire day, that's when you guys can really start to feel His presence among your life. Last thing is use the resources you have been given. Here at Sioux Falls Christian, there are so many opportunities for you guys to join the debate team, play golf, be a part of the play. There's so many ways, and I think when you step outside of your comfort zone and you figure out what God gave you that makes you special, that's when you can become unique from others because you embraced what He gave you. I'm so glad I got to talk to all of you today, and I hope that you can really embrace this step up theme. See you later.
So I sent an email out to all the middle school students last week asking for you guys to share any unique talents and skills you had. And I was blown away by all your responses, by either email or by coming in and sharing with me. Our intro video showed a few little snippets of what our students can do, but I had even more students share that they could build computers, do horse tricks, origami, painting, musical instruments, and even a student who was an amazing bowler. The list went on, and it was so fun to see the diverse number of ways God has made the middle school students at Sioux Falls Christian. As you've heard many times already today during this Step Up Chapel, our theme for the month of October is unique. And I wanted to share with you 3 brief reminders for you to remember this month. The first is God created you. This is a simple statement, but when you think about it, it should really blow your mind. The Almighty God who created the earth and the mountains, the oceans, all of creation, took the time to create you. Psalms 139, 13 through 14 says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well." Since God created, crafted, and knit you together, you can say confidently that you are not a screw-up, a mistake, or a failure. You were created by the same God who created the universe. You are a masterpiece, and as the Bible verse passage that I read said, you are wonderfully made. I know I need to remind myself that often and live with that perspective in mind. God created you and me, and when He made us good. The second reminder I wanted to say is God created you uniquely. Out of the 7.5 billion people in the world today, there is no one else quite like you. That should get you excited. You are original, and I like to think of God creating us with a kind of mold. And when He's done with us, He throws that mold out because it won't be used again. There's nobody on this earth that will look like you. So when God created us, He gave us a unique personality, abilities, and passions. The next thing I want to show you is a quick video of 2 professional football players who have a very unique passion that they share.
How y'all doing today? Welcome to GG's. So we have an assortment of cupcakes, as you can see. The most popular ones is wedding cake, chocolate chip cookie dough, the red velvet at the bottom. The chocolate chip cookie doughs are one of our favorites as well, one of our most popular ones.
I'll try the wedding cake.
That's a good choice. It's one of my go-tos as well. Not something you hear about. A big outside backer, Brian Oragpo, that sacks quarterbacks. Now he wants to go bake cupcakes. What is he doing?
When Brian Oragpo received a box of cupcakes after he signed with Tennessee in 2015, a sweet idea struck the linebacker that he shared with 2 friends. One of them, former Titans and Texas Longhorns teammate, Michael Griffin.
We always get together, go eat, but we always end the night with some sweets. We always talked about investing, but we want to do something completely out of the norm.
That gave rise to a GG's Cupcake Shop just outside of Austin, Texas that opened in March.
50% off.
And just like in football, this venture came with a new playbook and intense training camp.
Training was pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie to you. We literally had to learn everything from baking each and every flavor, baking each and every frosting, from working the front, dealing with customers, from handling the cash register, everything. We learned everything from 6 a.m. all the way until like 9 p.m., 8 p.m. at night. When we started, everybody seen that decorating was kind of my niche.
Ah, I'm getting it now, Brian.
Yeah.
I get it.
See why I wanted to get into this business?
Yeah. All right.
Here we go. The magic happens. So the chocolate chip cookie dough has the star tip. I'm gonna do it, and then we top it with chocolate chips, and we put a cookie on top. So.
And then we put it in our stomach. How many do you eat during the off season? I mean, do you allow yourself? You do?
Something that Vrabel and them wouldn't like, probably. So,
exactly.
So we're just gonna keep it.
Hold on, this is your stance.
See my stance. The woo-saw, namaste type of mentality. Mm-hmm. Breathe in and out. Then we can grow. Then we roll.
I gotta get in a stance. Woo-saw, woo-saw.
Breathe in and out. There you go. Now curve it. There you go. Not bad. Not bad.
If you had a rack cupcake, what would it look like? What would it taste like?
Oh man, mine would be like a Neapolitan. Caramel, chocolate, strawberry. Top it off with the rack cookie. Wipe my chest down. Ah!
That's good. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself in this process?
One thing that's cool about this business is not only are you making people smile, they enjoy cupcakes as much as we do, and you're making money at the same time, you have a good investment, you're having fun.
Now, when I first saw that huge linebacker, I would have never thought that he loved making cupcakes. But from those first couple seconds, it was pretty clear that he had a love for baking and had a passion for it. Now, you might not ever be a professional sports player, or if you're like me, you can't bake at all without creating a mess or maybe even a fire in the kitchen. But God has given me and each one of you our own unique sets of gifts and passions. So 1 Corinthians 12:4 says there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but in all of them and in everyone, it is the same God at work. Each one of us was created uniquely. Each one of us has different gifts, but God is the one working in each of us. I think one of the best illustrations of this is when we look at our hands and we look at our fingerprint. Each one of us has a different, unique fingerprint. It's different than everyone else. Even identical twins have different fingerprints. Each one is unique. So this leads me to my final reminder. God created you for a purpose. God gave each one of us our own fingerprints to leave an imprint nobody else can. I'll say that again. God gave us our own fingerprint to leave an imprint that nobody else can. One of my favorite signs in the entire school is outside Mrs. Popma's door. It says, "The world needs who God created you to be." I couldn't sum it up any better if I tried. The world and this school is begging to see your unique gifts and how God created you. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So how can we as a middle school step up and live into who God uniquely created us to be? So to end this Step Up Chapel, your teacher is going to give each one of you a paper fingerprint. And I want you to take some time and think about your interests, passions, and ways that God has created you. In between these lines, I want you to write down different things as a reminder for you this month to live into how God created you to be unique. So before we do this, I want to close our chapel with a brief inspirational video to encourage you this month in your unique identity in Christ.
Would you do the world a favor and be you? Because everybody else is already taken. Do the world a favor and be you. The world needs you, or God wouldn't have made you. If God wanted me to be somebody else, I wouldn't be here. I would be them. Stop trying to be somebody else. Stop letting the culture define what's beautiful. God says you're beautiful. Have you listened to God's voice in Psalms 139, 13, and 14? That when you were in your mother's womb, you were wonderfully and fearfully made? Have you looked in the mirror and said, "I'm wonderfully and fearfully made," because God says? Or have you looked at TV images? Have you looked at magazine covers and said, "Oh, I'm ugly because I don't look like them"? And God is going, "Precious child, you are beautiful to me." Do the world a favor and be you, because everybody else is already taken.